Hello everyone, the following is a public service announcement from Southeast Guitar Repair. It's that time of year again. Time to watch the humidity levels on your instrument and make sure everything is properly taken care of. One of the very easy, simplest things that you can do is make a humidifier at home. You definitely want to keep a hygrometer on hand to check your humidity levels. The ideal humidity level is between 45 and 55% relative humidity. So if you get a little hygrometer, you can get them for $5 on Amazon, super cheap online. Just pick one up wherever. That'll tell you what the percentage level is in the air around your instrument or in the room that you're keeping your instruments. If you see that it's actually dipping below 45, which is very common. I know everybody says, especially if you're in Georgia, which is where we're located, they say, well, it's real humid in Georgia, but you have to keep in mind we're always countering the humidity outside indoors. So it always gets very dry inside. Especially this time of year when it starts to get a little colder, you kick your heat on, everything sucks the moisture out of the air, so you gotta be real careful about the humidity levels on your instrument. If they start to get too dry, you'll see things like the bridge lifting up off the body. Could cause some major problems. Cracks in the fingerboard, fret sprout, the edges of the fret starting to stick out a little bit. It's because the wood is starting to shrink in different directions and the instrument's starting to fall apart all on its own. So one of the very simple and most cost-effective things you can do is make a humidifier at home. This is just an old pill bottle. You can use an old film canister, which most people don't have laying around anymore. You're probably more likely to have a handful of pill bottles laying around. This is the exact same thing, just a much larger version. You do not need something this big. You can, but this is more for if you're humidifying the instrument inside the case. If you're monitoring the humidity level in the room, you're going to want a larger humidifier. Floor humidifier, just a little box humidifier, something that's going to keep some humidity going throughout the room. For the case humidifier, super simple. Take the little pill canister and pill bottle, drill a couple holes in it. I would probably do, 7, 8, 9, 10 around there. So all you gotta do is just drill some holes in it, get a sponge, wet it. Be sure you wring out all the excess moisture. You do not want this wet sponge to come in contact with your instrument. That is the whole point of putting it inside of a casing first. So it's literally just a sponge inside a casing. Toss the cap back on after you've drilled all your holes in it. Throw it inside the case, check it every couple days, and re-wet it whenever it becomes dry or sees that it is starting to dry out. It's always good to keep it wet if you are below 45 to 55% relative humidity. If you start to get over 55%, I would go ahead and take the humidifier out. You don't need to keep a dry sponge in there. You can just go ahead and take it out and just monitor the instrument inside the case. That being said, a lot of companies sell humidifiers. It's the exact same design for 90% of the humidifiers you see out there. There are companies that make like humidifier packs that go in your case. Some of those work fine. I have seen some accidents happen with some of those. I know they've redesigned them over the past few years, but I have seen some split open, and that's kind of like a gel on the inside, which can do a little bit of damage. But like I said, that being said, I think they've redesigned that. I think they've had problems for years. It was just the early versions of it. I'm talking probably 10, 15 years ago. It's been a very long time. So, but cost-wise, a sponge inside a casing, that is the ultimate humidifier, the most easy to monitor. It's so plain to see whenever this is dry. On some of the other versions, you can't really tell if it's dry or not. You can kind of feel it a little bit. You're not sure really how much humidity you're putting into your instrument. With a little bit of a sponge inside a casing and a hygrometer inside your case, or just a hygrometer in the room with a humidifier in that room, you can very easily monitor the humidity level of all of your instruments and get a much longer life out of all of them. So hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to contact your local luthier or give us a holler. We know anything and everything you need to know about guitar repair and modification. Thank you very much. Goodbye.